back to another episode of Grow Together podcast. I'm your host, Mudassir Raza. The purpose of the show is to support each other to grow together. And today I have a very amazing guest, Ma'am Cheryl Edison. Ma'am Cheryl Edison, serial entrepreneur at Silicon Valley. And one of the interesting part is that visited 73 countries and the huge exposure and not just visit those countries, engage with their youth and did this amazing conversation, and I'm trying to find out what she has been discovered after the visit of 73 countries. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I am doing really well. I'm happy to be home in my house in San Francisco after visiting Pakistan. I just
Oh,
got back.
great, great. I unfortunately unable to meet you, but that's great. And that was I was thinking to ask the first question about your visit of Pakistan. What do you observe and uh, what you like about it?
Everything, absolutely everything. I had such a wonderful time. I can't wait to go back. I had an amazing time. Um, what can I say
Food.
that I food? Well, okay, so food. So let's see. Biryani.
Oh, yes.
Biryani was my favorite. I like
Yes.
this thing the most, the most. I never saw rice so long. The
Yeah.
rice was like, I mean, here we have rice that's like this. The rice was like this. It was
Yes.
like
Yes. Yeah.
incredibly long. And the spices were so
Yes.
dense, so yummy, and so warm. They were fantastic.
We all are
Fantastic.
crazy towards it.
Oh, I love. And I had, what else did I have? Chana, chana.
Chana chaat.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you one amazing thing that I had, which was very surprising, was the most amazing ice cream. I had
Yes.
amazing vanilla, deep vanilla. I wasn't expecting ice cream, but and so this
Great.
was very surprising that I had also very good ice cream.
You visited
And what else?
Islamabad?
I landed in Islamabad
Hmm.
after 2 days of travel.
Oh.
2 days. Yeah. Well, Lufthansa had a strike. So I got stuck in Frankfurt,
Uh,
then, which was, that's the way it goes. And then they had to reroute me through Muscat. So
oh,
I got to,
two different countries.
yeah, which another country.
Yeah.
By the time I arrived, it had been 2 days. And then after Islamabad, so in Islamabad, I was at, oh, here, I can actually show you. I was at Air
Oh, Air
University.
University, great.
Air University. And I was on television there on a station there. I'll have to look I don't think I can even say the name. And what else? We were at the Lincoln Center working with women
Yes,
entrepreneurs.
yes, yes. They're doing a great job.
That was really fun.
Yes.
And there were like, oh yes, we did lots of things before going to Karachi.
Oh,
Karachi. Karachi was supposed to be downpouring rain.
oh,
So
yes.
cut my visit to 3 universities.
Oh,
Danger, 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 Will
yes.
Rogers. You cannot go in the street. And then it didn't even really rain. I was so like, please, come on. I want to go to the universities. I want to be with everybody. I
As
want
they
to like do
forecast,
everything.
but it wasn't happen like that.
Oh, I was so frustrated. But then we had this wonderful conference, the Startup Cup. Oh, wait, I'll show you some of those. Oh, wait, I did. I also went to the
Great.
I don't know if you
Amazing.
can read that. And so, I mean, this is the amazing thing in Pakistan. You don't have to remember anything. Everywhere you go, they give you one of these boxes, and in the
Uh,
boxes,
the
here you've
shields.
been.
Great.
Let me see.
Great,
No.
great, great. Amazing.
But anyway, that was the Startup Cup. That was the Startup Cup. Oh, it was this. I don't know if you can even see that.
Wow, amazing. Yes, yes, yes. It's visible.
Yeah,
Uh,
Startup Cup. So we did an investor roundtable to talk about how to fortify and have more investment in the Pakistan startup ecosystem. We had a panel discussion and I gave the keynote,
so,
the
ma'am,
keynote address. Yeah.
what's your observation regarding the youth potential when you visited different universities or talk with different young or the fresh blood? What you have been observed? What's the spark you have seen?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Check this out. This really surprised me. Okay. So I teach at lots of universities. One of my
Hmm.
favorite universities is here in San Francisco area, Silicon Valley. It's called UC Berkeley. So UC Berkeley, we have a boot camp twice a year. So Stanford and Berkeley, they fight with each other for which is the top business school. They fight with
Yes.
each other, which is the top engineering school.
Mm.
And so I teach in the engineering school the startup boot camp twice a year. And there we have students from all over the world, usually 150, 200 students, and work with them to launch and grow their startups. It's 1 week. The students are there from 8 a.m. until 2 in the morning, whatever. They do whatever they do. Competition at the end, pitch for money, like that. The students in Pakistan, equal. Equal. Now, oops, I'm sorry. the Zoom, my Zoom, my Zoom, my
Ah,
Zoom gestures are on, but this is
great.
really the truth.
Yes.
It's the truth. The Pakistan students were so amazing. I mean, my mind was blown. I did not expect that level
Yeah.
of innovation, perseverance, new ways of looking at things. I didn't expect it. Mudassir, I was so impressed. I
Great.
was so impressed.
Because what we have seen the last few years in Pakistan, okay, we are thinking about that, okay, how can we grow the startup culture in Pakistan? Even the government of Pakistan is taking initiative, and maybe you have heard about the national incubation centers all over the Pakistan. After it, we have seen the huge change. But another problem which we have seen in the last 2 years, the startups fail. A number of startups, businesses failed or stopped working or generating the businesses. What problem you have been identified that on which they have to be work, even they have an idea, they have an investment, but they're unable to grow or continue their services?
Yeah, this topic, I really wanted to get into that topic because there's well, let me say this. There's a kind of a pattern that happens. So there are very specific things that need to be in a startup ecosystem in order for the startups to grow. And
Yeah.
one of those things that needs to be in place, and maybe we can go through what those things are. Maybe I could just name them if you feel like it. But anyway, one of those things that has to be in place, otherwise the startups
Mm.
cannot grow, is infrastructure.
Yeah.
If the infrastructure in the country
Mm.
doesn't support
Very true.
the startups launch, begin to grow, and
Mm.
collapse.
Yes.
So and so I believe
Mm.
that there's a problem in infrastructure, and the kinds of things that are in infrastructure that I think are beginning to be in place from the university I went to, from this Air
Yeah,
University.
yeah, yeah.
Guys, let me tell you what, these guys rock and roll. These guys rock and roll.
Yes,
They're
yes.
amazing. Their incubator there, I mean, they're really good. Anyway, but what they do have R&D transfer,
Great.
very important. They do have a sense of teaching the commercial
Mm.
and legal infrastructure, but the ability to launch and grow a company looks difficult. Like the actual building of the entity, I don't know, looks a little difficult. The other thing that looks a little maybe difficult to me is I don't see payment gateways. Like I didn't
Mm, mm,
see
mm, mm, mm. Exactly.
PayPal,
Yeah,
Venmo,
very
like
unfortunate.
I I don't know
Mm.
how a startup
It's hard.
can sell to another person without handing cash.
Yes.
How do they do that? If
Yeah.
they don't have that, then they can't grow.
Serious concern.
They cannot grow. So I think that we have an infrastructure challenge. And so people are trying to let's fund them. Let's teach them mindset. Let's teach them how to grow the
Mm.
companies. But then
Do it in real, in actual.
they can't make a transaction. So
Mm.
how the heck are they supposed to grow? How is that supposed to work?
Exactly. Even the Stripe or the other people you mentioned that there is a main hurdle to make the transactions.
But how do they do it now? How do they do it now? How do they pay one another?
Mm.
Like if I'm selling something, so look, there's really two ways you do it.
Yeah.
Either you do it B to B,
Yes.
And then you're making purchase orders that are
Mm,
so large that then they're bank to bank
mm,
transactions and it's no problem. But if you're doing anything that's not B2B or business to
oh,
government,
yeah.
business to nonprofit, then you're trying to do B2C,
Mm,
business to consumer.
consumer.
And if you don't have a way to get a payment from a consumer,
Yes.
oh, you're
Yeah.
stuck.
How will you survive?
So,
How will you
so
grow?
yeah, so that means that any of those companies that are B,
Hmm.
I don't know what they're doing. How are they doing it?
Acha, in the same scenario, what potential you have been observed to start a fintech startups or the fintech companies grow in more in Pakistan? Because I guess if directly we do not have the access of the paper or the stripe, so if there's any middle party or the third person, like any fintech startups will bridge this gap. Is there any what you have been observed? Is there any possibility? Is there any realistic approach?
Well, so look, usually, okay, so this is what I've seen in the past. Does not mean that this is what's
Hmm.
happening in Pakistan. Because remember, I was there a very short time
Yeah.
and I didn't I wanted to have more contact, didn't have enough contact. I
Mm.
lost full day of visiting universities.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to you about what I saw.
Mm.
So usually what has to happen is that the government banking system
Yes.
has to get behind it. The government banking system has to support, just like a corporate venture, they have to bring these fintechs in under their
Hmm.
wing and
Yeah.
help them.
Yeah.
So the government bank has to go, we're going to help you. And then it will happen. This is what I saw in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, when I was there in 2013, there was no payment gateway. Not, I went on national radio,
Mhm.
TV, and I said, hashtag, let me get paid. Who's the president of the national bank? I would like to speak to them. They
Mhm.
needed to say yes. When they said no, and it took, it turned out that they had payment gateway software, but that it had been blocked from coming
Mm.
into use. And so then when it became transparent that that was the problem, boom, it took like a year and a
Yeah.
half, and then payment gateway. And now Sri Lanka has like Draper,
Yes.
Fisher, they have
Yes. Yes.
great VCs in Sri Lanka. Things are booming in Sri Lanka. There's Hive. Hive is amazing. With and there's so many people in Sri Lanka that I love, They're doing
Great.
really great
Yes.
things
Yes.
that
Yes.
I'm very, very big fan of Sri Lanka and the entrepreneurs there.
One of the interesting part which I've seen your previous videos regarding you have dedicated your life to three C's, creativity, community, and commerce. I need to know more about this. What's the point or aim at that time when you decided that okay, it's these three C's and all of the three are amazing.
You know, inside of each person is a very there's a desire to express and to make things happen. There is a wish to be seen and a wish to do something that is their own, that is their own way. You see in little children when they draw, when they paint, when they speak, when they dance, everybody is born with a desire to express their own uniqueness. And with this uniqueness comes a desire to connect to those people who will appreciate that uniqueness, which is
Mm.
entirely you. That community, when you link your creativity, what you
Mm.
are unique for, with those people who expect and want that to be in the world and on to commerce, that creates this wonderful, wonderful story arc, a loop of sustainability, because it's through commerce that things are
Yeah.
empowered to continue and to cross the globe and can travel everywhere
Yes.
because commerce is something that unites
Connect.
us, it
Yes.
joins us. We exchange, we transact, we trade, and then we all belong to the same interaction.
Yes. In that commerce part, you also mentioned one more thing regarding a sustainable development business. Uh, this is also a very interesting part that how can we make this world or create a businesses which are more sustainable. So what when you're visiting a different countries, and every country has a different problem. I find one more interesting word in which you have mentioned that real world challenges. So, how can we create or make the business model or the startups which are going to solve the real world challenges? The one of them which you have mentioned in your own videos as well, zero poverty, zero unemployment, and one more which I've just missed, zero carbon emission, something related to it. So, when you're visiting different spaces, what point you have been observed, how can the youth is able to solve the real world challenges if we just break down into their own local areas?
So here's the thing. It's really tough to be an entrepreneur. It's not
Yes,
easy.
yes, yes, yes.
It takes a lot of courage, even if you're in a culture that supports being an entrepreneur, that supports startups, even cultures like where I live, where startup leaders are rock stars. I mean, it's even here, it's really difficult because every morning you have to wake up and find your commitment to that solution.
Yeah.
So a solution that you're committed to is actually linked to a problem that you're committed to. And that problem that you're committed to can't be like some fluffy problem. It has to be a very specific, defined problem that very specific, real people are facing every day. And if it's a problem that you yourself are facing or someone that you love is facing, it's much easier to stay committed to it. Then there is a very easy way to make that commitment grow globally.
Hmm.
Take a look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Now, if you want, I can bring it up on my screen right
Yes,
now by
please.
just
Yes, please.
screen
Yes,
sharing.
please.
Okay, all right, I can do that. It's really pretty easy. I just do this, click this button. So here are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Basically, back in 2015, at the United Nations, we all got together there, and there were people from Silicon Valley, like Mark Benioff from Salesforce, a whole bunch of people, and everybody was talking about how can we really focus on the biggest problems in the world and do something about solving them. And it turned out that we came up with these 17. Everybody there was like, 17, that's too many. But it turns out that 17 was
Hmm.
as close as we could come up with. And I now feel very touched by these 17 because here's what happens. Once you focus on that problem that touches your heart, that really affects your life on a day-to-day basis, that you can really lean
Hmm.
into and stay connected to, then connect that problem to one of these outcomes in the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. As soon as you connect it to one of these, even just one, what you'll notice is that there are three because they're in triads. They appear in triads. So
Yeah.
look, here's biosphere, society,
Society, economy.
economy. So you start by figuring out where is what you care about. Then every time you message, every time you talk about the problem, talk about it at your local level and talk about it at the global level.
Yeah.
And that allows you to build a global business
Yes.
much more easily. That's easy. It's an easy way.
Exactly. This is also the amazing as well. If we just do understand that, just give me a
If we
second.
understand that.
Ji.
There's another thing that I think can help. Like, can I show you one more slide while we're at it?
Sure, I will
One
make you
more.
the.
Just because
Yes, yes, you
I
may.
think that it helps brings everything together. I love
Hmm.
slides because it makes everything more
More
understandable, more
clarity. Yeah, it brings more clarity.
it's just easier because blah 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 and here I am blah, blah, it's just easier to look. it's
Yes.
it's just easier. So here we go. So take a look at this. Here we go. I really like this slide. So look at what's happening here. This is Maslow's hierarchy. And what happens here is you can see that the problems in the world, the goals in the world are broken out into three main levels. They are based on safety and physiological needs. That
Yeah,
if we don't
fair.
have these covered, we have fear, right? Then we go to the next level, love and belonging needs. If we don't have these, we don't have
Satisfaction. Yeah.
satisfaction. And the highest level, self-actualization,
Actualization.
happiness,
Yes.
happiness. So that's where we have this creativity. And so one of the stories that I really like to tell, because it makes it just really easy to understand, if you allow me, can I just go one more minute and tell you a little story? Yeah? I see you shaking your head. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Mm.
So, all over the world, we encounter one another and we encounter problems.
Yes.
And those problems that we encounter are age-old problems. They're not new problems.
Yes, yes,
They're
yes, yes.
usually
Hmm.
old problems. So when we think about like a conference back in 2008 in Paris, when this guy Travis and this guy Garrett were standing on a snowy street corner and couldn't get home back to the hotel from the conference. And they were like, gosh, wouldn't it be incredible if we could just use our cell
Yeah,
phones?
yeah. Hmm. Amazing.
And this
Yes,
problem, getting from point A to point B,
yes.
is as old as man has ever existed. And so by using new technologies
Hmm.
and new business models, combining new technology, new business models with old human problems,
Yes.
you get the best startups.
Same goes with the food delivery, same goes with the Uber, Green, all these kinds of businesses. The problem is generally same all over the world. Everyone who needs the food maybe at 11th hour, so they need a rider, someone from the food storage who can deliver it. Yes,
Right
absolutely.
now,
Hmm.
right, I'm sorry, I'm cutting off. I just so excited. I'm sorry.
No,
Finish,
no, no.
please finish what you're saying.
I
I'm
mean,
so
there's no, I
sorry.
mean, I just
I'm
got
just so
done it, done
excited
it,
about what you're
done
saying.
it, done it.
So look, so I work with a wonderful scientist entrepreneur. His name is Dr. Abid Chowdhury. He was recently on the cover of Nature magazine. He has devised a rice that has 5 harvests instead of one. And instead of needing to be fertilized, it is a virgin birth. Now, imagine this rice in Pakistan, all the rice that would grow in Pakistan, and how there would be no hunger in Pakistan, how if it could be exported from Pakistan, how that could
Hmm,
solve
hmm.
the hunger of the world.
Yes, yes.
And that is at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy:
This
safety, physiological
exactly,
safety.
exactly. This is what I believe as well. Let's suppose if we have a land to grow any crops, and if you're not doing it, this is not we are doing injustice with just with our own people. It's injustice with the other countries as well, because we have an potential to grow that, and we are not doing it.
Yes,
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 this is the
you
point.
are so right.
Yes.
Yes, and Pakistan has incredibly good export
Yeah.
laws. Now, this is something that the government is doing amazingly well. You can export rice from
Hmm.
Pakistan. You can't from many other countries, which I will not name, but you can from Pakistan. And so Pakistan could link with
Yeah.
Dr. This is and so these opportunities, which also fulfill the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals
Goals.
to end food hunger,
Yeah.
end hunger, end hunger.
This is how you cut
I
work on
mean,
that
when I say end
unemployment,
food hunger,
poverty.
what I mean,
By just one of this step, you're able to resolve all these, able to resolve this chain.
yes, because it
Hmm.
all links
Connected. Yeah.
together. When you deliver the food, you
Yes.
end the hunger, you create the employment, you
Yes.
connect the countries.
Yeah.
Everything
Amazing.
happens when something
Yes.
is something so basic as food. Food. We started the conversation with
Yeah.
food,
Yes.
biryani, continuing the conversation
And with
with
the
biryani,
rice. Yes.
another
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
a rice.
Yes.
I mean, rice, but there's no
Uh,
rice like rice. I mean, the rice, anyway.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so and time. And in last, all the young entrepreneurs, those who are watching this episode, what advice do you want to give to them?
Choose. Every startup in the world has begun with one single choice. And as humans, we have the opportunity to choose. One choice leads to another choice, leads to another choice, leads to all the doors opening for you that you deserve to have open for you. So I urge you to choose to do what you wish to do, to lift from yourself that creativity, which is uniquely yours, to solve a problem, to link to the community that's waiting for you to solve that problem, and on to commerce. When you link your creativity with community and on to commerce, everything becomes possible. So please choose.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. I really enjoyed and learned a lot, and there are a number of confusions which have been solved. And able to you connect the dots. Okay, how can we make it better and take the maximum advantage of the opportunities which you have seen around yourself. So it's amazing conversation with you, ma'am.
I really enjoyed myself with you, Mudassir Raza, and I hope
Yeah.
that we continue our conversations.
Yes, yes,
Okay?
yes, definitely. And whenever
Please
you visit
eat a
Pakistan
biryani for
again, I
me.
love to meet you.
Yes. Please have a biryani for me. It's the
Yeah,
best, the
yes, yes,
best.
yes, definitely.
Okay.
I'll ask my mom; she will cook for you.
Oh my goodness. I have to come back to
Yes,
Pakistan.
whenever you will
Thank you very
visit
much.
Pakistan, I definitely will host you.
I hope so. I hope so.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye for
much,
now.
ma'am. Have a nice day.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Bye bye.